I have a question, Michael. I think the audience would be curious, if I understood you correctly, how you went from what you were to being born again to being a non-believer. Were there specific things that occurred to you that caused these cycles?
Hey, you're giving him extra time.
I'll give you extra time. I'm going to ask you a question, too.
This is not an affirmative action debate, my friend.
No, it sure as hell isn't.
All right, go ahead.
Girls. No, just kidding. It's a slightly longish answer. One of my books out on the table, How We Believe, has a whole chapter on my experiences at Pepperdine and how they transitioned over the 7 years until I became a non-believer. In short, there was a couple of things. One, the problem of evil really does bother me. I really can't conceive of how, if there is a God, that he can be all-powerful and all good, because clearly evil happens. So if there is a God, it's a limited God, and that wasn't a God that I particularly thought was worthy of worship. Second, I didn't like the egocentrism that I saw in myself, like it's all here for me, it's just for me, it's all about me. Third, when I studied comparative mythologies and comparative world religions, and I realized, especially as I got older and traveled and met people from other countries and other cultures who believed just as passionately as me, something radically different. It made me kind of step back and think, how do I really know I'm right? Why should I always be right and the other people wrong? That seems so self-serving. Those are the three main things.
All right, very good. I thought you were going to make us buy the book. So.
Operators are standing by.
All right, Dinesh, your questions to Michael.
You said a moment ago that you would like to believe, but you have no reason to. It's a common explanation of religion that it reflects wish fulfillment, that it's a sort of desire to believe something. And I can kind of see why religions would come up with the idea of heaven, because heaven is a wonderful place, no suffering, no death. Heaven seems to me to fit a wish fulfillment scheme. My question to you is this: why would a bunch of people who are into wish fulfillment, making up stuff you wish was true, A, come up with the idea of hell, which, by the way, is worse than death or diabetes. And second, why would we come up with the prohibitions of Christian morality? I mean, if we were meeting here to make up a religion that fulfills wish fulfillment, and someone were to say, how about these 10 commandments? I mean, I'd strike out 3 myself. If you're into wish fulfillment, who wants thou shalt not do this and thou shalt not do that? So it doesn't look to me like Judaism or Christianity fits the wish fulfillment scheme. Your comment?
Would that be number 7 by any chance? Quickly, look that up.
Why wish fulfillment?
Yes,
Why does...
okay, I don't, first of all, I don't wish there was a God or wish there was no God. Either there's a God or it's not. As I said, the universe just is the way it is. If it turns out there is, and I'm there at the pearly gates, I'll say, I gave it my best shot. You gave me a brain to think. I used it. This is the conclusion I came up with. I would prefer to be judged by my actions and how I treated other people instead of whether I just happened to believe. I never got... Why believe? What difference does it make whether you believe or not? Isn't it more important how you treat other people?
Well, maybe it's both.
Second, but to answer your
let me go on since it's my time. I want to find out whether you are metaphysically close to the possibility of God. What kind of evidence would it take for you to believe there is a God? Let's say, for example, we were to find a new planet, and on that planet was emblazoned the sign, Yahweh made this. Would you say, I've been wrong, you're right, Dinesh, there's a God? Yes or no?
Yes. Although I would prefer a large cash deposit in a Swiss account under my name, that would do it. And the specific amount, by the way, is $1 billion. $1 billion would convince me for sure. But seriously, I'm not metaphysically close to the idea. Metaphysically, there could very well be something outside of the universe. Yes, there's no way for science to know that.
And since God is not a material but a spiritual being, what would we have to do to convince you? Besides putting money in your pocket.
I don't think there's any way to convince me through logic or reason. I think it would just have to be a personal experience. And therefore, I think all these reasons that you give and theists give are reasons to believe if you already believe. If you've already made the leap of faith, then you can back into it with arguments to justify it.
So you said that you accept the legitimacy of personal experience. Now, if 95% of people in the world say that at some time in their life they have been, let's say, in love, a personal experience, on the basis of this universal testimony, not everyone, someone may have never had that experience. But if the vast, vast majority of people have, would you concede that love is real?
I would conceive it even if only me had it.
So, by
Several
extension,
times.
if 95% of people on the planet have an experience of God,
But
who is real to them in their everyday life, they have the experience of praying, they have the experience of feeling a presence. When you say that it's not a matter of argument on your side or mine, it comes down to experience. Isn't the universal experience of mankind in favor of God and against you?
Yes, but in the same way that the universal experience is that free will is real, even if it isn't. I happen to think it is, but even if it isn't, because there's good arguments on both sides, that doesn't make the experience any less real. So that I believe in the God who exists inside people's heads. That is, I believe that people really believe in God, and that God is powerful. That experience of God is powerful. That's separate from whether there's something out there outside of space and time.
Okay. We can.
30 seconds to spare. All right.
Go, Coach. You have to ask him something.
Dinesh, have you always been a profound believer, or did you have a particular experience that brought you around to the point where you are so strong and convicted in your beliefs now?
Justice comes my way. Well,
Welcome to the People's Court. Call me Judge Judy.
It's all in his book. Out on.
let me say this. Yeah, I'm not going to be saving them $16.95. I assure you that. No. Look, I come from a part of India. I was a part of India called Goa, which was centuries ago visited by Portuguese missionaries who came with a Bible in one hand and a sword in the other. It was called the Portuguese Inquisition. It was very persuasive. So I was born Christian, but here's what I want to say. Many of us learn our Christianity as I did at my parents' knee when we are very young. Therefore, we learn what can be called crayon Christianity, a very simplified Santa Claus, God is a man with a big beard type of Christianity. It is that stupid Christianity that we then take to college and is then subjected to skeptical attack. What? You believe this? You believe, as you said earlier, that a big man comes down from the mountain and hands commandments and so on. So very often when we think we were born Christian, we've grown out of it, we've seen it, we've done it, we actually haven't done it in an adult way. We have rebelled against the juvenile Christianity of our childhood, as I did when I went to Dartmouth. So it was only in later life that I discovered a mature, a more adult theism and a more adult Christianity that is in fact quite capable of standing up to this skeptical attack and making the case for belief. So that's why I'm happy to be doing what I'm doing, because it's in a certain way the Christianity that we've learned isn't adult Christianity. That's what we need to be discovering today.
Got it.